Just going to say this. If Nick Sirianni is talking about the cornerback position in this way, we are in big trouble right now, and we have a lot to discuss regarding the second day of joint practice with the Cleveland Browns. The Eagles, not so good of a day, so let's get straight into it all.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Yo, what's going on, guys? I hope everyone's on a fantastic day. The second day of Eagles joint practice, and we have the Nick Sirianni press conference. A lot of things going on. We have a game on Saturday in a day, and, it's very exciting. And this was a day where it was really hot. Practice wasn't as long, and you didn't have Lane. You didn't have AJ. You're missing some starters. You're rotating guys at corner. So the Browns really had the better day versus the Philadelphia Eagles. So let's get into it. Now, Nick Sirianni talked about the run game and said they had some good runs for that first joint practice, but overall the offense was, there's a lot of negative plays there. And, like I said, you're missing Lane, you're missing A.J. Brown, so I wouldn't take so much into account on a really hot day as well where they haven't really practiced long the last couple days, but that's what he talked about when involving the offense and overall what they've been doing. Now, Nick also talked about A.J. Brown working through things, and I think he re-aggravated his hamstring, guys. I think he re-injured himself because he's not doing light sprints, he's not jogging, he's not doing any of that. So trying to get him ready for week one. We obviously need A.J. Brown, and this is one of those times where you got to be careful with some of these injuries, especially now you're going to the second preseason game, and then after this week, it's all about resting the rest of these guys. A.J. Brown has got to be there for that. Now, someone asked Nick Sirianni about Landon Dickerson. And by the way, Landon just got out of surgery from the other day, a couple days ago, and he was at the second day of Eagles joint practice. He was walking with a leg brace on, no support from anybody, not holding anything to support his balance or anything like that. So that's a really good sign. Now he's got 21 days to see if he could play that first game. But he was asked about if they trust Brett Toth in taking that left guard job. And he pretty much said, I like the depth that we have there. I think Brett's doing a really good job and has a lot of versatility. Even Jordan Mailata after practice was pretty much saying, he mentioned that Toth gets a lot of hate, but he always does his job and is a very smart player. It would be a shame if people didn't appreciate him. I don't think we've been really a big fan of him since he doesn't play center well. He doesn't snap the ball well. We've seen it at games. We've seen it in camp the last couple off-season programs. And left guard, he's gotten beaten off the line. There's no doubt about it. But, maybe some players just look better after getting a lot of reps. And we'll just see if he makes the start over Landon Dickerson. But this is something that we have to watch out for by the start of the regular season. Now, Nick talked about the cornerback 2 situation. Now, he did say that there's no rush to name a starter, that it's still up for grabs at this point. And Ja'Cory Bennett, not enough practices in my opinion. Okay, Adoree Jackson has had more starts in this practice. He had his 10th start as the starting cornerback today, opposite of Quinyon Mitchell. Kelee Ringo was with the second team, opposite of Mac McWilliams. And what I've noticed so far is Mac McWilliams is barely playing the inside. Okay, not playing the inside at all. He's been playing outside corner primarily. This is kind of alarming a little bit. They're trying to add as many bodies to that position as possible, rotating as many guys as possible to that cornerback 2 spot. Even Eli Ricks, I think, deserves a shot because I think he's been the most consistent guy from what we've seen so far. I still think we don't give up on this position yet and not see what you have in-house. I think Ja'Cory Bennett needs more of a chance because he only has, technically 3 practices under his belt. And that's the realistic part of it. Now, let's go over the injury report for the Philadelphia Eagles, as did not practice. We talked about A.J. Brown with the hamstring, Lewis Cine with the groin, Landon Dickerson with the knee injury. Kenyon Green looks like he's going to be missing the rest of preseason. I talked about this on my last video. There's been a lot of rumors regarding him. I think he would have been the backup left guard if he was healthy at that point. But I don't think makes the final 53, and potentially out of desperation, I don't think the Eagles keep him if he just can't stay healthy. Lane Johnson had a rest day. Saquon Barkley also had a rest day, but he was limited. Zach Bond was limited as well, so he's slowly starting to come back, not doing too much. Elijah Cooks is finally back at this wide receiver crew. Darius Cooper out there making plays. Terrace Marshall has been back, but really hasn't been making much noise. And Darius Cooper had a pretty good day on the second day, which we'll get into in this video as well. So now Elijah Cooks is getting his shot to get into this preseason game and make the coaches think harder about this wide receiver core when it comes to the depth. Really glad he's back, and good things are coming. Now, obviously, a very short practice for the Philadelphia Eagles where, Jahad Campbell was giving unlimited pressure all day today, and I think he's been really good at that. I'm not really sure if they've been putting him as an edge rusher with second-team defense, but as a rusher from being at the linebacker position, he's been very consistent with it. We've seen it all of camp, and he's been pretty good. Even Sidney Brown's been playing really good downhill. I'm not really sure about his coverage. It's been very suspect, very lacking when I've seen it, especially at the open practice, and didn't hear much about his coverage, but playing downhill and his tackling, it was a pretty good day for Sidney Brown, which is good news. Now, Andrew Makuba had an up-and-down day, and this is really his fourth practice back and full, to be honest, off the injury report, so that's really good. But an up-and-down day for him as he was beat by Ryland Jr. on a corner route for a touchdown, and then literally the last day of practice where cornerback Dillon Gabriel rifled a pass to Drank Johnson at the goal line. He bobbled it. Makuba had the pick to really end it all at the end of practice. So a very up and down day for Makuba. Let Makuba play. Let him go through his growing pains. I've talked about this a million times. Let him start in this first game like Cooper DeJean did when he had injuries in the offseason program and became the full-time starter between, but by week 4 or 5 of the regular season. Let Makuba get in there and do his thing. I think we're all going to be really happy with that spot. It seems like Darius Cooper is continuing to solidify that number 4 receiver spot where he had a completion on a slant, and then he had another completion against Denzel Ward today. He had 2 really good catches. A.J. Brown taking him under his wing, and can't wait to see more Darius Cooper in this game on Saturday, and you better have him on the final 53. I want to see him on special teams because they have been testing him out at gunner. They've been testing him out as a kick returner as well. So they want to keep Darius Cooper on the field. And if that's going to be the case where they want him to play, not only be a depth receiver for this team, but play special teams, they want him to make this roster. And I think he's pushing way high for it. And he's doing a good job there. Jaylen Herz had a few good passes in this practice. There was at least one to Ben Van Simmer, and that was to the flat that almost would have got him killed if it was live tackling. So got to be really careful with that. Ben Van Simmer just got back. You don't want to re-injure him again. Thank God it wasn't a preseason game, but not a great pass by Jaylen Herz. And the Eagles seem to be practicing more of their design run game with Jaylen Herz and things like that. So they really did a few reps going into that as well. But other than that, guys, between resting guys and these two very hot joint practice days beyond, okay, disgusting, humid days for both of these teams. And, the Eagles can only do so much. The Browns can only do so much. When practicing against each other and in this type of weather, you could get hurt, dehydrated, get cramps, start, getting these little tiny injuries. So I'm glad they were very careful with that. So now you have a couple days, or a day, I should say, of going into your second preseason game of the offseason program. And we're going to find out a lot of things. Everything is still in question. Safety, I feel more comfortable with because I think guys just need to be put into the fire in the regular season and play. So I have a lot of faith in Andrew Makuba. That corner spot, though, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, rotation. I don't care if Adoree Jackson's had 10 starts over any other cornerback on the outside. Ja'Cory Bennett has not practiced enough with this team. He hasn't been with this team for weeks. He's been literally practicing for probably 3 to 4 days, and it's not even a week of practice with the Eagles, so I can't put too much on him as of right now. And Mac McWilliams is getting a lot of reps on the outside, more reps than he ever has than playing on the inside. Seems like they're not even worried about the inside because obviously Cooper DeJean is there. There's no depth behind him. That outside corner spot is a glaring need, and we're going to find out Saturday if someone's going to rise to the surface there. Not much to say, but that's just what it is. Well, other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. What are you worried about still? You worried about corner? You still worried about safety? What's going on? Leave a comment in the comment section below. And make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. Make sure you hit the like button because it helps out tremendously. Shakes what a follow side. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.